Hello, friends and clients of JLW Immigration Law Group. I am Jennifer Walker Gates, board certified immigration attorney, and I am here in this video today to talk about rumors versus reality. We've had some scary rumors coming out lately, and that's been true since about January. There's been a lot of scary stuff happening, and a lot of it is true, and then a lot of it is like actually not true. And so we're going to be talking about how to kind of deal with the onslaught of news and try to filter through what's actually happening, and steps to take to make sure that no matter what is actually going on, we're ready, we're prepared, we're well informed, and ready to face whatever may be coming our way. So I am going to be talking today specifically regarding some leaked information we received last week regarding ICE's position on unaccompanied minors in detention and in removal proceedings. And then we will also answer questions. I will also be talking some about the detention situation, the detention landscape, and making sure that everyone is well informed about what is going on there also, because a lot is changing, a lot is happening. It's important to be informed. Before I get to the meat of the conversation, I do want to remind everyone that it's really helpful for us if you can share, subscribe, comment, leave us questions. You can bring your questions to this forum and I will respond as effectively as I can, as directly as I can, while also protecting your identity and your confidentiality as best as I can. You can also contact us. Our contact information, I'm going to just have it scroll across the bottom of the screen. You can reach us on our website at jlw.law. You can go there to schedule an appointment with me or any of the attorneys in our firm. And you can also call us at 512-633-1785 anytime to schedule an appointment. Please share this video if this is helpful information for anyone you know or love. Like the video, subscribe to our channel, help us get the word out that there are resources out here for reliable, vetted, correct information that isn't just about rumors. That is really important right now. Okay, so getting to the topic for today, ICE arrests of children. This is something that we became aware of last week from our most trusted legal resources. Were in almost a state of panic because there was some leaked information stating that ICE was going to basically threaten to not just arrest and detain children, but also their families if they didn't withdraw their applications for benefits that they had legally filed under the immigration law with the court or with USCIS. The language that we were provided from the leak indicated that ICE would tell children that they could get, if they self-deported, they could get $2,500. But if they didn't, then their families could be arrested and they could remain detained themselves. So the information we received indicated that children 14 and over were going to be provided these letters, basically extorting them to withdraw their applications for relief in the United States. What actually was issued apparently to at least some young people, unaccompanied minors in immigration custody, was a letter offering them $2,500 to return to their own country. Now, that in and of itself is a form of pressure that is unwarranted and really unprecedented. We've not seen children advised in this way before to self-deport, but this is the landscape that we're in. It's new, and for most of us, it's not pretty. And so it's really important to understand the legal implications of this. If you accept an amount of money to return to your home country, you lose whatever application you may have that's already filed and pending. You lose access to whatever application you have that could potentially give you permanent legal status in the United States. And so it's very important for us to make sure our young people know that if they are presented with some offer to receive money in exchange for returning home or anything from the immigration service, they really do need to talk to a trusted attorney or advocate um, who can help them understand the full implications of this before signing anything. And ideally, an adult acting on their behalf makes the decision about whether that offer is accepted or rejected. Some 14-year-olds are very mature and can make good decisions, and some 14-year-olds are not there yet. There's a lot of individual variability, and so in any case, regardless, people under the age of 18 shouldn't be expected to make decisions about legal matters that are very technical and complicated without an advocate at their side. So we are encouraging all of our clients who are parents, all of our listeners and viewers, to share this information with families, especially if their children are in removal proceedings. Before accepting any offer from immigration, please, please, please consult with legal counsel that you trust, that you know, who can help you understand the full spectrum of possibilities, both for rejecting the offer and accepting the offer. This is not the first time during this administration that we've heard a rumor that turned out in reality to be not as scary, not as bad as what was rumored. Now, what is actually happening is also problematic, especially in this case, and also in many other cases. But it's interesting how often the rumors are, in fact, very much worse than the reality, and it is going to cause nervous systems to light up all over the place. And in those kinds of conditions, great decisions don't get made. That is not an accident, I don't think. So it's very important to be aware that this is kind of probably a strategy and a tactic to leak information that sounds even more horrifying than the reality. That does a couple of things. Number one, it sends people into panic mode and makes for decision making that is influenced by panic and rather than calm. Decisions in that context are never going to be as good or as strong as they would be otherwise. Number two, when the reality does unfold, there's almost like a relief or a gratitude that it's not as bad as we had expected. And it helps us lose sight of the fact, numbs us to the fact that things are actually not in accordance with the law, with our obligations under human rights treaties. We still have a law on the books that says asylum seekers are welcome in the United States. People can come to the United States to seek asylum and safety. They can do that whether they enter illegally or not. And there is so much happening that contradicts the law on that we forget that it's still the law. So really, really important to be aware that the reality of what is going to happen is likely not as scary as the rumors, and the rumors are intended to be scary. Okay, so let's keep that in mind. Be informed about that as we proceed through the next few years, understanding the sort of tactics and strategies of the information that we are being fed. Another really important point on rumors versus reality. In general, this applies to the self-deportation propaganda that we're seeing right now. There's a lot of promotion of self-deportation as a great solution for undocumented people in the United States. Really, again, super important to review your specific case with a trusted advocate before you accept any offer to self-deport, take them up on the suggestions to self-deport. Very, very important to have a very specific understanding of exactly what the implications may be. It could be that you will be surprised to learn that you're not eligible to ever return, that you can't return for many years, that your possibility of legalizing your status is now gone. So please don't fall victim to that kind of pressure to remove yourself from the United States, to deport yourself. Please get good counsel and good information before you make that decision. Lastly, I just want to point out some good news, which is that even though the immigration judges and DHS government attorneys are saying that individuals who entered without permission are not eligible for a bond to get out of detention if they are detained by ICE. That is that's their basic approach to people in detention right now. And there are a lot. The detention numbers are higher right now than almost any time in the past. So the good news is that federal courts are disagreeing. I am aware right now of more than 50 decisions out of federal courts saying this is not what the law says. The law says that individuals who enter the United States have rights to seek bond and seek release from detention. I am aware of more than 50 decisions saying that, and 0 finding that the government's new interpretation of a long-standing legal practice of offering bond to individuals who entered without permission is not right, is not correct, is not legal, is not valid. The federal courts are really holding strong on this. The good news and what this means for people who are potentially entered without permission to the United States and are worried, or maybe they entered recently with parole or something like that. If you're worried about detention, or if you have a loved one in detention, the good news for you is that there still is a way to potentially get release. There is still a way to potentially get a bond, and that is called habeas corpus. I have published a couple of YouTube videos about habeas corpus and what it is. Habeas corpus is a weird Latin phrase that means you will produce the body, and it's a specific kind of lawsuit that is really different and unique from almost any other kind of lawsuit. But the purpose of it, it's a very ancient kind of case, that the purpose of it is to challenge unjust government behavior. So we turn to habeas corpus when our government is doing things that appear to be illegal and that impinge on our individual liberties and rights as people in America, whether we are a citizen or a non-citizen. People in the United States have certain rights under our Constitution, no matter their immigration status. That is what the federal courts are finding repeatedly under the Constitution, but also under the Immigration Nationality Act. The Immigration Nationality Act is the law written by Congress that is supposed to govern how immigration is managed in the United States, and it has long said that individuals who entered without permission are eligible for bond. Not everyone. If they have a criminal record that's really serious or problematic, those folks will be subject to mandatory detention. People who are just arriving in the United States and have no basis for remaining in the United States, they're probably going to be subject to mandatory detention and expedited removal. But the people who have entered and filed applications and have taken up a residence in the United States, there are rights that attach to them that have to do with being able to get a bond to get out of detention. So if you or someone you know has been detained after having lived in the United States for a period of time, if you historically in the past thought you could have potentially sought a bond to get out of detention and then pursue your defense against deportation from outside of detention, the federal courts are saying you still have that right. That law hasn't been changed. The Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice can't just rewrite that law because that law was written by Congress. They can't just reinterpret it. They can't just redo it just because there's a change in the administration and a change in the way that they want to treat detention. That's not legal. That's not how our legal system works. Habeas corpus is the remedy. We have filed some habeas corpus cases in our practice, and sometimes they're successful. They're not always successful. But right now, what we are seeing with the federal courts across the United States is that for individuals who have been detained and denied bond, habeas corpus is successfully getting people released. So it's really, really important to keep that in mind. Talk to your attorney about whether they're licensed in federal court, because you have to be either licensed in federal court or at least willing to try to get licensed or try to go make an appearance in a federal court, which is different from an immigration court. Okay, the federal courts operate independently of the executive branch. They're part of the judicial branch. They're not elected. They are appointed, and they are supposed to be independent. So really important to check with your attorney, see if they're licensed in federal court, see if they're willing to try to file a habeas for you or can recommend a trusted colleague to help get a habeas filed if your loved one is detained and can't get a bond. Please bear in mind, every case is unique, results not guaranteed. However, this is, as a general rule, a concept that's really important for everyone to be informed about right now. Habeas corpus is our avenue back to justice for the immigrant community who has been unfairly persecuted recently and unfairly targeted for mandatory and prolonged detention. We are not supposed to be using detention as punishment in the United States for immigrants. Detention is supposed to be administrative. It is supposed to only be used as a means of ensuring that if someone is going to be deported, they can be deported quickly. Detention is not supposed to be something that we use to punish people for entering unlawfully. That is not what the law says. That's not how it's constructed. That's not how it works. So I hope that this has been helpful. Thank you very much for being here. I hope that you will share the information as you see fit. Subscribe to our channel. Reach out to us directly if we can help you. Please stay safe. We will see you again next Wednesday at noon for additional updates. Thank you so much. Talk to you later.